React City, I'm John.
I'm Rose.
I'm Nikki.
And welcome to the React Cast podcast.
Yeah.
So, we've had a pretty interesting week. We've got a lot of shows coming up. We've been talking about that. And I would like to start off with something we got from Jarda, who was telling us, from Jarda LOL, thank you very much for the comment, about Dragon Stampede.
Oh.
You said, I've been reading a lot of discussions about this new anime. Knives is actually closer to his manga counterparts than the old anime. The original anime, like, remember I kept saying, like, they're doing this really fast and stuff. Apparently the manga, they got to Knives very quickly.
Oh, really?
The original anime, Knives, for some reason, at least according to the manga readers, was like, why is he coming at the end? This is all reversed.
Yeah.
So, it's just funny. This is one of the only cases I can think of where a manga was completely written off and they did their own thing with the anime, and that became legendary.
Yeah.
Like, usually you ignore the source material, it goes terribly.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah. Fascinating.
So that's why the writer is happy with Trigun, because you're saying that's what was happening. It's like he's happy with it, even though it's so different from the other one. This makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still here for it, and I keep finding myself pleasantly surprised by how much I'm enjoying it. But I do often feel myself comparing it to but it was just, I can't explain to you how much of a mystery it was with what was going on with Knives. It was played like a crime thriller sometimes. Like, who is this guy? Where's he come from? I don't think we even knew they were brothers until like near the end.
It took a very long time to figure that out. And we didn't really figure it out. They just told us later.
Yeah, and I think there was just flashes of the lady who, the one who put him in the pods. We didn't even know who she was.
I think we got like 2 episodes of her.
Yeah, eventually.
Of like the whole them being there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it's like a part of me is like, oh, you're ruining it because I want you to experience it the way I experience it. But at the same time, what I'm seeing is not bad. It's not bad at all.
Yeah, I think like listening to how you describe the old one versus this one, I think it's just 2 different ways of coming at the same thing, and I think both are legitimate ways. Like, one can be keep it a complete mystery and reveal it slowly, and one can be reveal it halfway, which they did. Like, most, I don't think they revealed everything, right? There's still a lot we still don't understand Knives, or I don't understand Knives modus operandi. Like, what the heck is he? What's he after? You know, I don't get it. But I know he's his brother. We know Ren was close. We don't know why they were in the ship. There's still a lot of questions. So it's kind of half revealed, half not. You know, so I think that's another good way where he kind of, whets the appetite kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel the mystery still? Because I actually have started to, I keep assuming I know what's really going on here, but as it's gone on with the latest episode, like, I don't.
You know what? Never mind. I've never seen this show before. What is this?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, same. I feel the same way. I think it's, in the beginning, I did keep expecting it to, like, get on the track that I was used to it being, but now I'm just like, you know what? We're somewhere else doing other things. Like, in the original anime, I really liked the way that they introduced Wolfwood. I don't remember if it took a couple of episodes or not, but I just remember really enjoying that experience and the absurdity of all of his guns just coming out of that thing. But in this one, this was also pretty cool. Could have, done a little less flair with that gun, but you know what? It was still cool.
They're gonna show off how good CGI is.
Yeah,
it's basically CGI that is allowing them to like go crazy with some of these moves.
It's carrying the show.
Yes.
I wonder whether the characters are more honest to the manga in this one than in the original that we watched. Because, like, for us, an entire character is gone.
Yeah.
Because we watched the original anime that came out. And, like, every character is completely different now. Actually, Wolfwood is, like, the most...
He's the closest to it.
Closest to what we can expect from the original. But, I forgot her name already.
Really?
Meryl? Meryl is very different. She's the junior in the pair-up there, and then we have a new guy, Roberto. What's his name? Vash is he's not different, but his character design is different. Like I had mentioned before, like kind of Blade Runner, more Blade Runner-esque than Westworld. But it's growing on me. I never really liked Blade Runner aesthetic, but it's growing on me, and I'm liking it so far.
It's growing on me too. Like I thought I'd miss his old design a lot more than I am. Like it just
and
kind of
his hair just going up.
Yeah, it's there, and it's not distracting anymore. It's just like, yeah, that's Vash. I think the biggest thing is his personality didn't change.
Yeah.
I think everybody else, it was a hit for them to be different from me, but he needed to still be that obsessively near naive pacifist. You know.
It's funny because when I look at the pictures of Vash from the old one, I don't get this personality from it. I think one screenshot of the eyes like this, that's the only thing that makes me feel like, okay, maybe he has these times. But it's interesting to hear
like the kooky type,
just his personality in general of everything, like what you're talking about, super passive, super like wants to do the best by everybody, including enemies, you know, everything about him. The one in the old one looks more like he's a bad boy, you know, like he's just doing his own thing. Yeah, he's a lone ranger.
That was the part that betrayed it, because then he opens his mouth and your entire perception of this guy is over.
I think in the original they introduced him as a possibly cooler character at first.
Yeah.
Whereas this one they reversed, where he was from the get-go kind of
stuff.
Yeah, like in the first, I think it was like the first half of the episode, we just kind of saw Vash from afar.
Yeah.
We didn't, so we just heard him, people constantly talking about the humanoid typhoon, and the worst is coming for us because Vash is in the city, and everybody's like super terrified because Vash is walking by. But in this one, like straight from the get-go, we meet him hanging from wherever he was hanging, which also is how we met him in the original, hanging from there. But we meet him sooner in this one.
I think the first memory that comes to mind when I think of when I first saw him is he was sitting down in a saloon, and then a bunch of bounty hunters showed up and they shot the saloon to the point where the entire saloon disintegrated to nothing except for his outline, and the outline fell over and he was sitting there. Like, somehow he knew the perfect place to sit where no bullets would go. Yeah. So it just like, that's how they introduced him, as he's this awesome character.
And you did, because they didn't introduce the whole brother thing until later, you just got the sense that, okay, this guy has some absurd luck. Like, it's just, that's his character thing, is he has this insane luck that gets him out of every situation. And then you kind of figure out that, okay, he might be actually kind of smart, because he's pretty good with certain things and surviving certain things and know-how, and then like you figure out the whole thing with knives later. But in this one, we get episode 1. He shoots a bullet into that was episode 2. He shoots the rock that disintegrates and hits all the other things, and then everybody's like, who the heck is this guy?
Do you think you're more excited for this one than you would be for our faithful retelling? Because for me, I'd be looking forward to it for you. Oh. Because I just don't remember the full story, but I want you to see it, kind of thing.
I don't know, because I do remember the original story being a lot of episodes. It's
slow sometimes.
Yeah. But at the same time, it felt like the whole like journey thing of like, we're just going day to day, and like every day is chaos. Yeah. But this one, we're following plot.
Yeah, it's very plot heavy.
So I don't know. They just feel like two different experiences at this point. Yeah. They're so different, you can't really compare them that much. So you just enjoy the one, you enjoy them each separately. Yeah. Which is, if that was their angle, good job. Yeah, you did it very well.
They're not like writing away the old one. They're just making a new version. What do they call it when they brought it back? What do they call it?
Trigun Stampede?
No, not name. Like,
is it like a remaster?
Right.
Yeah, remastered.
Remastered. Okay. What do they normally call it when they just like start over, like redo a?
It'd probably be remastered.
Remastered as well. Because I was wondering if their word choice was kind of betraying exactly what they were about to do. Like, listen, guys.
Well, whenever they used the word remastered, they always had like a big blurb saying, "No, we're not retelling the whole story. That's it. This is a retelling." They'd often say that along with remastered, because when people hear remastered, usually that doesn't mean just glossy it up and stuff like that. But in this case, it's like, no, we're actually going to tell the story. like the one he was supposed to be told.
Apparently.
Yeah.
I can't help but think about what the author thought of the original Trigun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you guys have these like lovely thoughts and you know, you treasure the original Trigun. That guy's probably like was stewing every episode it was released.
He's like, what is this?
Yeah. He's like, that's not what I wrote. You know? This is like, he must not, so that's why he's probably like being vocal. Listen guys, this is it. This is what I want you to see.
I wonder if that's out there. I should have looked that up beforehand. But speaking of old shows, just saying that, you know, Trigun has some slow episodes. The King of Slow Burn, Monster, is actually getting is fully up on Netflix now. Monster has, I believe, 74 total episodes. It's quite a long ride, but I'll just read a little blurb it has here. A brilliant neuroscientist is drawn into darkness when he tries to solve a series of murders involving a patient who he once saved. If you go into that show with no expectations and you just want a wild ride, you're gonna love it. But it's not a binge show. It's a show that you watch every now and again over like a year or even more. Just saying that because this is a journey kind of show that you're just meant to see through his eyes and learning about this guy. There were some times I was like, is this guy supernatural? Like, there's a lot of moments where there's a lot of questions and a lot of hints to there might be more going on here. And yeah, if you're into that, that's there now. This is not one of the shows that we could ever react to. So yeah, this is a personal time kind of show.
I remember you telling me about this show before. It sounded like the type of show where I'm excited to hear somebody tell me about it. I don't want to watch the show. I want somebody else to watch the show and then tell me about it.
Mm-hmm. How much of it have you seen? All of it?
I've seen all of it.
Oh, okay.
And then I watched Semblance of Sanity. Those React YouTubers. They watched the whole thing. Dude, they have some patience. There's some times that when I was watching the show, I would like skip through an episode. Not because it's bad, but it's just there's a mystery there, and I feel like it's right there. I just need to get to it. Yeah. But they have to put all this other crap here. It's not bad crap, but I want to know what's going on in that corner.
It's like it's different crap. You want that crap.
Yeah.
But they're giving you the different thing.
That sounds a Sandy. They're kind of, in a way, they kind of taught me to just appreciate the slow burn and discuss every single detail of a thing. Like they didn't drone on and on or anything, but whenever they were talking about it, you could generally feel that they were appreciating everything that they saw. But sometimes it's like, how do you do that? But you can actually force yourself to do that if you stop and just stare at a painting long enough. You will start to appreciate some stuff.
Yes.
I thought they were very good at that. Like drawing out the quality in there.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so that's just a little piece of news. A bigger piece of news is for you.
Me?
Yes, because my Kaguya-sama Love is War film is to premiere February 14th. I know you kind of like this one.
On Valentine's Day.
Aww.
And so I just read a little blurb here. I kind of laughed when I read this. So, Shueisha Academy Student Council Room, the place where... Okay, I'm just going to skip that. After a long battle of love, these two geniuses communicate their feelings, and massive spoiler, at the end of the season of Will They, Won't They actually kiss. However, it is just a kiss, and there's no clear confession of love. The relationship between these two is, even though everyone assumes they're a couple, is actually quite ambiguous. So, now overly conscious of their feelings, they must face the biggest challenge yet. Christmas. It's Shirogane who wants it to be perfect versus Kaguya who pursues the imperfect situation. This is a very normal love story between two geniuses and the first kiss that never ends. So, yeah, more of the old.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, did you feel like it was kind of resolved by the end of it? I never saw it.
I think you told us how you felt, that it felt like it, or maybe I'm mixing it up with another show. Like, what did you say?
It reminded me of the Candace and Jeremy situation where it's like nothing changed, but it changed the way you wanted it to. So it's not like now they're super, doesn't feel like they're going to be super lovey-dovey and all over each other from the blurb that you read, but they're still like together, but now they haven't talked about
what is the officialness.
He hasn't asked her to be his girlfriend. So I guess she's like
and she's not gonna do it.
No, because they haven't. That's the whole point of the show.
Right.
The one who confesses first loses.
Yes.
So can you explain why she would want the imperfect situation? Is that just a funny way of saying a relaxed, informal thing?
I think that probably means she's fine with the way things are. Like they're together, but maybe they don't have the title. If that might be what she's fine with.
I thought it meant like.
Or is this Christmas?
No, I thought it meant she likes spontaneity. Maybe.
That's what I was wondering.
Maybe. Perhaps she is from a super rich family, so she's super enamored with like normal things.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
That makes it all make sense. Yeah. I can see now.
You can see.
You know, this reminds me of let me try to remember. Yeah. I actually like it at the end of Will They Won't They's it to be lovey-dovey. I enjoy seeing that.
Same.
Like that happened in the comic book for Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's been a long time.
I didn't like that.
Oh, you didn't like that?
No, I didn't like that.
But in the comic, after they finally kiss at the end of the TV series, they start calling each other like sweetie, honey, and all this. And everyone around them is constantly cringing. Even though it is cringe, I like watching it because it's like the payoff of they're finally together.
Yeah.
Like, I want everyone to suffer through this because it's both hilarious and oddly sweet to see it finally pan out. Mm-hmm. But there's so many stories that, and the end, there's no epilogue and no ever after, and I'm very much big on the epilogue and what happens after kind of thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Same.
And there's just one other piece of news that I brought in a meme to lighten the mood afterwards, but apparently, you remember My Hero's author? He went to that hiatus in December.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he has to go on another one.
Oh, no.
Apparently, I mean, they never go into details on how bad it is, but this one's going to be 2 weeks.
Because it will return in the magazine's 12th issue on February 20th, that one?
February 20th, yeah. Yeah, so 2 weeks instead of the first month, so hopefully he can get back up ship shape. The season that's out right now is fantastic, and I do hope he gets to end it the way he wants to, and not like health related or anything like that.
Yeah.
Well, is it ending though? Is he supposed to be ending it?
I don't know. It's just from the way everyone's talked about it, I feel like this maybe has like another year in it. And I'm just basing it off of the way people talk about how it's getting to like a crescendo. It's like it feels, the story feels like it's nearing a conclusion.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, in the
anime.
The anime, at least. And we don't know how far we are from the manga, or how far are we?
I don't think we're that far behind because a lot of people, they don't talk super far in the future. They talk like a couple episodes in the future sometimes.
I do think that we are at least behind the manga enough to be like at the end of the war arc. I think
so as well.
Whatever the war arc was when the season started. I mean.
Ah, okay.
Because remember, people were saying like the war arc is coming and it's gonna be incredible.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's
so we must be a decent amount ahead then.
At least maybe like a year's worth of manga. The issue with manga though is sometimes an episode will just adapt 5 chapters, which are basically 5 weeks of work.
Yeah.
So like a year ahead doesn't mean that much sometimes. There's this meme here. I'm just gonna put it.
Meme.
Look.
You can't keep getting away with it!
These are all the shows that are doing it at the same time.
Oh my goodness.
You can't keep getting away with it!
Oh, they're doing season 3 of One Punch
There's very strong rumors. Yeah.
And they're doing like, they're all heavy hitter shows as well.
All what shows?
All heavy hitter shows.
Yes, why? How?
Is it God of High School?
Oh my gosh. Was that Jujutsu Kaisen?
Banana Fish. Oh my gosh, Banana Fish?
You seen that?
I dipped my toe in it.
Man. One Punch Man. Gosh. I was fascinated with his face the first time around, so I wasn't watching that.
But Banana Fish, I didn't really watch it. I watched like the first episode and I was like, I'm not gonna get into this. So I watched like the like third to last episode and I'm like, I'm definitely not getting into this. And then I left. But all I remember is
no spoilers.
No, it's just one scene. They took the scene from, I don't know what old movie it was, but you know when they do the zoom up into the face and then the guy says the code word? It zooms into his face, into his mouth, and he says, banana fish. And I was like, oh my gosh. That's why I left. Rosebud. Yeah, that was it, Rosebud.
We very nearly reacted to the God of High School.
Close on the Pole, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that was the one that was adapted from a webtoon.
It looks like it.
It's very stylized. If you see the main character's face, his eyes are super interesting.
Yeah, I think it's right. It's right here.
Yeah.
I can't really see his face.
Is that him on the cover? No, that guy.
This one?
No, that one. Yes.
Oh yeah, you can't see it.
Yeah, I like the red nose thing. I remember some comments were saying it's because fighters have red noses and get punched in the face a lot, something like that.
Maybe something like that.
I don't know if that's true. That's
all I remember is cauliflower ear, but I learned that from like a K-drama, from a webtoon.
Is that looked down upon? I know it's very common.
Cauliflower ear? Oh no, like for a fighter.
Well, I know for fighters it's a good thing, but I also know like scars are a big deal in the East.
Not so much for guys and usually.
Yeah, it's this. Yeah, especially like tans, like girls love sun, but the guys they don't care.
Yeah, tall, dark, and handsome.
Yeah.
What if you're a woman and in the MMA?
In the MMA?
Tough luck.
I don't know. I haven't seen any K-dramas about that, so if that says anything.
Yeah, but I just love the comments on this meme about how many shows it has. Like, MAPPA is basically the most active student in school, participates in every single event.
And is a member of every club. Yes. Why MAPPA?
Animators not being able to see their families after like 2 years.
Someone's like, animators, finally, after all the hard work, I can finally go home. MAPPA, we're not done until I say we're done.
I'm not in the anime business, Jesse. I'm in the empire business. Walter MAPPA.
MAPPA.
They do an incredible amount of work, but people say that they have multiple teams within their studio, and it's a huge studio, so it's not as bad as it seems. But obviously, I don't know how it works, so yeah.
They just want all the buns. The monies.
Yeah, I mean, surprisingly, I haven't noticed like a drop in quality in any. Some people have pointed out that like CG and Attack on Titan, I still enjoyed them. Yeah.
It felt. Sorry, I was just gonna say it felt like it was like, okay, this is the moment we're going to get CG for this. It didn't feel like let's just use CG for this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It didn't feel like a fallback. It felt like it was unintentional.
Because it was like right from the get-go in the season.
Yeah.
Because sometimes animes, like, it'll be the regular 2D animation for like half of the season, and then they're like, we can't take this anymore. And then they would do CG, like, suddenly, and I'm like, this is not what it looked like before.
Yeah. But no, they did it from the start, and maybe that's why nobody complained.
And on top of that, their Titans looked slightly different in this season because they aged, kind of.
That's right. Yeah, so they got away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
I really did enjoy the fighting scenes. I think more of the previous seasons. I don't know if the CG had anything to do with that, but I do recall thinking at the end of the last part 2, I think it was, like, man, even though we had a lot more Titan fights, I did not feel nearly as gratified as I did with earlier seasons. I think a lot had to do with Annie, but at the same time, when Levi attacked the Beast Titan, that was incredible.
That was awesome.
You know, but I still haven't gotten that feeling, despite we have more Titans than ever, and so it's not there.
Yes, it's true. I think that's one of the things that I don't know enough about, like, the CG thing, but like when you do animation, right, you can get, and especially if you're a good animator, you can get like amazing effects. Versus if you're not a good CGer, it's like, see, it's kind of like getting a tool that's capable of really great things if you're good at using it, but if you're mediocre, you can just become like the average of the normal. You know what I mean? So it's like CG brings you up here, we can bring you up there, but it'll just bring you just to average of a normal animator. Whereas an animator can maybe only go to here. But if you don't know how to use CG well enough to bring it all the way to its height, it's like, it's not helping. It's just kind of like a crutch. I don't know how to explain what is in my head.
I kind of understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Kind of wanted to bring this all around to, we just saw the Tanya the Evil movie, I think it was last week, right? So we were talking about how there was a lack of inner monologue, and then it contrasted this week when we saw Hunter x Hunter. And we saw so much, yes. So I was curious if you had any thoughts on which you preferred or one is too much, because Hunter definitely is on the side of too much inner monologue. Because you got inner monologue
plus narrator
for both people, then the narrator, then the actual action.
Yes.
Tanya, no inner monologue. We don't know what she's thinking. Nothing but action. They both have good fights. So like, which side do you fall on, and when is it too much or too little?
I think when there is a plan and there's a lot of intricacies to the plan, you need the inner monologue because you need to know why the person diverted from the plan very slightly in order to make that move to get back into the plan. That kind of thing is important for you to like follow along with what's happening. But for something like Hunter x Hunter, we're just fighting. We're fighting real hard. But there's also like bits of almost character development in it, where like the king is respecting Netero, and Netero is beginning to respect the king, or at least have fun with this fight. But at the same time, Netero is like, I still gotta kill you, you know?
Yes.
And the king's like, are you done? Come on, man. What's my name? But the amount of inner monologue was a bit much. But I guess it's also because they're throwing like backstory in there of Netero being like my whole life, and then we flash back to his whole life. And so yeah, it's a hard balance to strike because you're trying to, I guess it's trying to tell too much story at once.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate backstory when it's done right, but you know, it's funny, if that backstory was even a little bit boring, it would have destroyed that whole scene.
Yeah, that's true.
But because it was so good, I forgot that it interrupted something I wanted to see. But with Tanya, I brought it up so much that I kind of started feeling like I was just
repeating yourself.
Not just repeating myself, like nitpicking at a certain point, because it's something that no one else seems to have an issue with. Like, not once have I ever seen someone comment about how we really needed. Well, I've seen people say that, hey, the reason she did this is X, because this inner monologue that you never saw. But I haven't seen people complain about losing that dialogue.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it, and I think it really is what Rose is saying. It depends on like the need of the scene. Like, I'm thinking about Hunter, and that last episode, now that you mention it, I was like, yeah, they were talking a lot, weren't they? But it's funny, I didn't feel bothered by it like I have been before. Like, Hunter has bothered me with the amount of talking. Like, you said it. It's like, first the character says it, then the narrator repeats what he just said, and then the character says it a little bit more detail. It's like, okay, we got it the first time. And that's happened a lot in Hunter. So they don't always get it right. But that last episode, while I think it was still too much, I feel like it was kind of important to, especially the parts where we were hearing the king talking about his thought process and figuring out Netero, because of his how long he's been playing against Komugi, not Komugi, yeah, playing her against in this game. Like, surely that game taught him something, right? And yes, it did. We get to see that it helps him in this fight. So I kind of enjoyed that, but I also feel like they could have done it faster, and they could have done it like in a way where instead of telling us from the start that he's using this to figure it out, it could be like he figures it out and then you tell us, oh, that's what he did. Something like that. There could be other ways. You hate that more?
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's like repeating the situation to me. But the exciting part has already passed.
Oh, okay. Well, but to me, actually, I feel like it could work. Because
it depends on how long they take to explain.
Right. It depends on how long. If they go droning on, if they cut the action to a big, you know, backstory thing, that's different. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like, how did he do that? You are surprised watching, wait, how did he figure that out? It didn't look like he was getting close or something like that. Suddenly he gets him. Now you're asking questions and then the narrator tells you. That's what I mean. And I think it's possible to have done it that way, but that's just not Hunter's MO.
Like that, I wish was in Tanya. Because even though with Hunter, I kind of prefer the fight, non-stop fight, and then a little break. Fight, non-stop fight, then a little break. What I don't like is fight, break for the inner monologue kind of thing, which happened, I think, in a couple earlier episodes. But with Tanya, like, for instance, in the movie, master spoilers, I guess, when she burns down the Russian capital, what was she thinking? We know she knows some of the real world history because she makes mentions of it sometimes. She just makes mention of it sometimes. So why would she go that far? I know she also, like, there's heavy leanings about she doesn't like communists. Like, very clearly she does not like communists. So you could pin it on that, but we never get a moment of her actually saying it, you know?
And like, you know, was like complaining in her head for a long time. She did do it a little bit once. Yeah. But I think that's what they're relying on, just a few moments of it. Whereas we kind of feel maybe we need a little bit more convincing, more proving.
Well, to me, it's like, I feel like I'm watching her perform, but I'm not... I'm watching this character do whatever they want, but I don't actually know this character. Look at 2 Year Eternity. I know Fushi. I know what he's trying to do. I know his objective. I know every single thought before he does a thing, but it's not annoying. Not no point I've ever thought the narration was too much. It's not real narration. He's thinking. But Tanya has no thoughts about the action she does in the moment. She has thoughts about her overall objective repeatedly, and about how a situation affects her overall objective, but never the little things in between, and that bothers me.
Yeah.
Because sometimes she'll do something that from the character that has formed in my head from watching her do things and the objective she wants to get, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
That action goes against your overall objective. But if I knew what she was thinking, it would probably make sense.
Yeah.
There is one moment that I'm recalling where she did actually react or speak her thoughts, almost like an inner monologue. Oh, it was when she meets, what's her name?
Victoria?
Yeah, no.
Mary Sue?
Yes. I think when she knocks her out the first time, and she was like, "You're a little girl. I guess this goes for the both of us," or something like that. And it's like, oh, she actually she's thinking about, as a young girl in war, and it's kind of gave her a bit more. We got to see inside her head just
almost
for that
like
moment.
Humanity, like you care.
You care.
Is
yes.
that a factor?
Yes. She's actually thinking about this weirdness about herself. But you're right. Most of the time, she doesn't do that. But I did notice that one moment when she did it, and it was something about it made me feel closer to her. It's like human. It's like human.
Something to empathize with. Something to consider about the character, which they just don't give you.
Yes.
And we get those comments about she's smiling is because she's on meth. It's like, that would have been nice to know, because it changes the entire show for me. Like when I read that comment and then started watching the show, like she as a character stopped being evil. Because that was the main driving force for why I thought, like, this is just an evil person who loves killing people in the sky. Because other than that, there really isn't a whole lot of things that she does that are objectively evil.
No, that's true.
So it then becomes, okay, we're watching a war diary of this person. But like I said before, it's a war diary without the diary. You're just watching an action movie.
Yes.
And we also learned that that's actually the name of the show, of the manga. The proper name of the manga is like the Diary of a Little Girl in War or something like that.
Yeah, Diary of a Little Girl. We had Ultra Porting say, this is some information that we could have used. The Empire is running on fumes at this point and barely has any food. It has no imports whatsoever, so like real World War One. Even in the capital, they drink ersatz. And often is called children's coffee, since children can drink it without worry, which is why Eric gave it to her when they were having that meeting. And on the front line, it's even worse, and will continue to get worse. So like stuff like that, I think are important. Not for it's not just character building stuff that you should put in there. It's also the greater picture, because it explains why they do such desperate measures, like shooting their elite squadron at the possible capital. Like having their entire army perform a pincer maneuver. Not a pincer maneuver. So everything starts to seem more reasonable once we understand how bad the situation is.
I think we talked about it in the Discord. We didn't really, during the series, we didn't get the feeling that the Empire was on the back foot, like, at all. We thought their citizens were just happily sipping away at their coffee or whatever. But then in the OVA Desert Pasta, we see them like eating just pasta and water, basically. The officers, the head honchos. That's like the closest we get to really understanding
what's going on,
the actual wartime environment that's happening.
Yeah, like when you see her going back to town, and every time we see her in town, just people like chilling on the sidewalk, and the
people
pub,
at the restaurants.
The pub and the restaurant.
Everybody's drinking all the time.
Yeah, it doesn't paint the picture of that grim situation. No. What we should see is people rioting in the streets, breaking buildings. So if you gave that feeling by showing how desperate the situation was, a lot of the decisions that the high command makes more sense. Sending them past in a desert makes more sense. Someone in comments claimed that actually happened in real life, but I don't know. When we say stuff like that, sometimes I get the feeling that we might give off the impression that we don't like the show. But no, I love the show. I genuinely enjoy the show. It's just, to me, it's like looking at something that you could be a masterpiece if you just did this. So that's why I complain so much. Because it's a really high show, but it could break up there. Yeah, it could be so much better. But we're starting Mandalorian season 3. So I don't actually remember what season 2. Oh yeah, he left off Gugu. He left Gugu with Luke. Grogu.
Oh, Gugu. Grogu. And then he came back. But then he came back in Boba Fett. They joined them together. So Grogu is with him again, right?
I guess so. Yeah.
Because I remember how it ended. I think in Boba Fett.
Tiny chainmail. Yeah,
not even that part. After that, where he's in the ship, he gets his ship, and he's about to leave, and the two fighter stop him.
Mm-hmm.
The rebel fighters.
The rebel fighter's like, wait a minute, can you open your blah 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 blah? And he's like, and he just takes off.
Yeah.
And then the other guy was like, should we chase him? He's like, do you want to do that paperwork? That's what I remember.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, what are you expecting?
I don't know. I just want it to be good because I love both seasons.
I have nothing to expect.
Yeah, because season 2 you could have something to expect. Season 1, nothing to expect. Season 2, something to expect. Season 3, nothing to expect again. Like, where are we going? It's basically Big Adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Big Adventure time.
I think that's probably it because they were like, let's go into the universe.
Yeah, they can you know, make something up because that guy. Morbius? No, the bad guy. Did we kill him? Did we already capture him?
The director guy was chasing him?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in jail.
Oh, okay. Dang it. I was gonna say he was still out there, but he's not. I think the other...
He got exiled.
I knew there was something big. Yes. He got exiled unless he could go back to his planet and go to the waters and do the thing. And it's like, but it's caved in. I can't do anything. It's a destroyed planet. What are you talking about?
I have no clue what you guys are talking about.
Well, remember his only real Mandalorian people that followed his creed were the girl and the random guy that hated him. Mm-hmm. Remember? And they ended up fighting.
Yeah.
He tells the truth that he took off his helmet. And then you're like, you were exiled.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
You remember?
Yeah, I remember now. And then, okay, to get your honor back, you gotta go to the planet that doesn't exist anymore.
Exactly.
Right.
But I'm holding out hope that it actually does exist.
Oh, 100%.
But it's hard.
There.
It's hard to get in there. But that's his mission. Maybe that is what
they gave us a waypoint. It's gotta be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is there. It's just the Empire bombarded it. So he has to go
we find a secret civilization of Mandalorians living under there.
I hope so.
100%.
I mean, Mandalorians are probably my favorite group of people in Star Wars. They've just constantly got done the dirty. So I hope there are more there, and I hope that there are different factions.
Yes.
Like we saw, we already have 2.
And the other thing I was going to say, we also have, or of a loose end, kind of, sort of, is the other Mandalorian group that take off their helmets.
Yeah.
The leader girl, remember, we left her off at the end of season 2 where Mandalorian gets the sword and she wanted the sword and she was like pissed. She mad.
I just lifted it.
Yeah, she just left.
She's just gonna come back.
Yeah, she's still coming back because she wants to be leader. She wants to be leader, so she's gonna challenge him or something. Because the other guy, in our old Mandalorian group, our little 3, he was challenging him for the sword too because he was upset at him for something.
He just
didn't like him. Yeah.
They don't get along.
Yeah.
It was a great honor sword, and it's like I can take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is why I was wondering why that girl didn't challenge him to a duel right then and there. She's a good fighter.
Yeah.
Unless you're like, I can't take him, which seemed odd.
Yeah. I think because I think it would make her look bad.
Because he just got it.
He just got it, and you're gonna have infighting when you have an enemy there. You know what I mean? It just doesn't look good. Better to wait till another moment. It's like, Mandalorian, I want to fight you now. Now that we have no eyes.
And now that I talk like this.
Yeah. She's off doing like a Rocky movie training montage. She's just jacked when she shows up. Yeah. I mean, I'm excited for it. She is actually one of the bright spots to me for how the new era of Star Wars has treated Mandalorians, because I never liked her character from the Clone Wars. It's going to sound kind of messed up. I'm glad she's kind of evil. Because I feel like sometimes they'll bring characters from older series that aren't necessarily good people, and they'll make them good just kind of everybody's a good guy. But she has her own agenda. She's, I shouldn't have said evil. She's not evil, but
she's not the good guy.
She's not the good guy.
Yeah.
She's ruthless. She does her own thing. She wants power. She's power hungry, and I like that they committed to that for that character, because I feel like that's very believable, especially when you, if you know about the Clone Wars, like her former husband. I think he was her husband. That whole story, that entire arc, the war arc, that kind of stuff that went down. I would not be able to believe it if this character came back and was a good person, because I saw in Star Wars Rebels she was kind of on the friendlier side. I know that show was kind of made for kids, but I got the impression that they're trying to make her into a good person, because she's kind of related to one of the main character's friends, and I just didn't like that. So when on the big screen she comes back and she's like a bad person, I was like, yes, that's the person I want to see. I don't want to see her go down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, the other thing that we kind of left Mandalorian, I'm just remembering the show now, is he still doesn't know how to wield the sword properly, and he never finished learning because he was being trained when right after he ends up fighting the guy, and he had to stop fighting the sword or something like that. Like he had to go with the flow, something like that. Yeah. So he has a whole training arc to do as well. There's lots to do in 8 episodes.
Yes.
8 episodes always sounds like a lot till it isn't.
Yeah. The thing is, they are like hour-long episodes. Yeah, and a lot does happen. Like even with Boba Fett, which was I think it was 8 too, or 6. Yeah, a lot happened.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying like not much will happen. I'm just saying like it'll be here and gone in no time.
Oh, that's true.
2 months.
Yeah, and didn't last time they released like the first 2 at one day or something like that?
Did they? I feel like some show did that.
Some show did that.
Was it Boba Fett?
I can't remember. Like it was 2 the first day, and I'm like scrambling. Gotta watch 2 episodes.
I think it was Mandalorian because it wasn't Boba Fett.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Because Boba Fett, if they did that, the next episode would have been Mandalorian. Because remember, he had 2 episodes.
Yes.
I can't believe they did that.
Yes.
I still can't believe they did that.
That was funny.
Yeah. And I'll always say it. Mandalorian is the Boba Fett. He took his character. That's why Boba Fett had to be so different in his own show.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, I love the Mandalorian, but he is Boba Fett.
He's the real Boba Fett.
Yes.
Yeah, but
wouldn't it be funny if they nah. This is wild.
He's a clone.
No, I was thinking kind of a clone or timey-wimey something.
Oh hell no!
No, not in Star Wars. Not in Star Wars.
No,
I say Star Trek.
No.
Get out of here with that.
Apologize. Yeah. So you got anything else, guys?
Yeah.
No.
I thought I had something about clones, but no.
All right.
Other than I keep wanting to watch The Bad Batch and I don't do it.
What's The Bad Batch?
Same. I want to watch that show.
Yeah.
But it's just like every time, when you want to start something, but starting it's hard.
It's like whenever somebody like recommends me a show, it goes on my list to never watch it. I don't know why. It sounds so interesting and I just never watch it.
It's because writing it down on the list has made you feel like you've done something. So you're like,
but I put other stuff on the list and I'm like, okay, that one instead. I'll do that one.
Yeah, so I think that's it though. So guys, thank you guys very much for being here. Guys, if you liked your time here, please leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more. And if you want to see this a couple of weeks ahead, you can hit the Patreon down below if you want. And also the merchandise store is there with the new Night City colors made by Rose here. Thank you very much. See you in the city. Goodbye.
Bye.